Hello, legends. Welcome back to another. I nearly muted myself. Welcome back to another episode of Nutrition Talks with Tyson the Trainer, with your host, me, Obs, Tyson the Trainer. Hope you guys are going well. Hope you are off to a good Monday. The reason I like to actually post these on a Monday too, kind of just get your week started, you know. Sometimes the fucking rant from me, sometimes the good amount of information, and it just gets you started for the week. You know? You know what I'm saying? So, in today's episode, it's going to be a little bit of real talk for you, all right? Like the straight up fucking facts. Straight up. That's all it's going to be. Some hard truths. You might be upset, you might feel attacked, but guess what? That's what I'm here for. To tell you guys the hard truths. Not to bullshit, not to lie, not to just try and sell you some, fake things that's going to get you instant results. I'm all about open, honest authenticity and telling the hard shit. Cool. Now, before I get started, one thing that I just thought about before coming on this, I got a critique a while ago from someone, and they're like, "Oh, look, I like your stuff, but I think you say cunt too much, and I think it's quite an offensive word." And I went and had a look at where this person was from because they messaged me on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh, maybe they're from like overseas or something," and they're from Australia, and I was like, "Huh." I was like, "Interesting," because Australians use cunt quite often as just like a casual thing. And I never saw it as rude unless it's being used in a way that you are being you've done something and someone calls you an arrogant cunt. Like obviously, arrogance in front of that word is saying that you're a bad person. But just talking about it in general or using that term, like, oh man, you're a sick cunt or you're a mad cunt, stuff like that. Like, I feel like Aussies just use that term all the time. Maybe it's not as used as I think. Maybe it's just around back up in Queensland and Townsville, and the boganness in me is why we used it a fair bit. But I was just surprised. I was like, oh, is that actually quite a bad word in Australia? Like I thought it was just like casual talk. So I don't know what you guys think. You can let me know if you want. I mean, I'm not really going to change. But I was like, oh, well, fuck, there you go. Maybe not all Aussies are used to the word cunt, but it is what it is. I personally don't think it's an offensive term unless you're using it to purposely offend someone with, again, a preemptive word like you are an arrogant cunt versus you're a fucking sick cunt, you're a mad cunt. He's a cool cunt. All right, I'll stop saying that. But in today, we're going to be talking about hard truths, like I said, because firstly, I saw this video the other day, and I see a fair few videos like this, fitfluencers fucking banging on about all this. They're just the bullshit that it's like, do you really need to fucking focus on that out of all things? So there's trends on TikTok at the moment, which you guys probably have seen, where someone's walking in the supermarket and they'll point out something. They'll be like, oh, yeah, this, blah, blah, the ingredients in this, talking about the fucking ingredients. And I'm like, oh my God, shut the fuck up, bro. They pick these things. James Smith did one, which I should have actually done a review on. It was the guy talking about cereal is the worst way to start your breakfast. Rah, rah, rah. Okay, cool. Yeah, right. Fair enough, mate. And then they're talking about the sweeteners and in the drinks and stuff like that. Artificial sweeteners. And then this guy was talking about glyphosate, which is, pesticide that's sprayed on your oats. And he's like, they spray this on your oats and, it kills the pesticides and you're consuming this and rah, rah, rah. And then, I've argued with people about fluoride in the water and things like that. And the reason I want to talk about this today is because, people are just fucking focusing on the word, the wrongest things. Is wrongest a word? The least detrimental things is what people are focusing on and trying to use as a scapegoat when it's that's not the thing that's causing you an issue, okay? These are the littlest problems that you should be thinking about with these little things, with those type of things, right? Because the funny thing is, we are in such a, people may forget this, we're in such a good place in the world. Where we are in this time in life, in history, we're the healthiest we've ever been, right? To a degree. We have an obesity problem now, not a fucking starvation problem. There's less people who suffer with starvation, there's more people who suffer with obesity. We're in a world of abundance, basically, is what I'm trying to say here. Compared to trying to avoid fucking, starving to death, you're actually trying to now avoid the overconsumption of food to not get induced comorbidities such as cancer, obesity, diabetes, things like that. We're trying to reduce that because of the abundance of food we have access to. Like, what a first world problem to have. And so because we have roof over our head, right? We have like the fundamental things, like we need food, we need shelter, we need like a loving relationship, all those type of things. Like they're kind of our fundamental stuff, right? Once they're all covered, our problems that we face on a day-to-day basis are things that aren't really problems. Like we're no longer trying to prevent the plague. We're no longer trying to see if we can live next week. We're pretty certain we're going to live next week at least. We're no longer having to walk for days on end to get somewhere. We can drive, we can fly, we can, catch public transport. Like, we have a lot of things in this day and age where we have it really, really good. I'm not worrying about, am I going to die of hypothermia tonight because I have a roof over my head that I also have heating in my house. And because we have it so good, we find things, because we want to find problems in our life. Like, humans are just naturally inclined to find problems. And the better we are handling life, and the better we have it in life, the smaller the problems we try and find that aren't really problems at all. Okay, like, just to compare this to, let's say, I think about Papua New Guinea, because I went to Papua New Guinea when I went into the Kokoda track. Okay, like, my problems are basically nothing compared to someone who's in Papua New Guinea. Again, there's a lot of homelessness over there. They're living in fucking shanties and stuff like that. Like, they have real problems to deal with. Me getting stuck in traffic, it's my problem, but it's not a fucking bad problem. Like, oh man, wow, like, fuck, what a sad world I live in that I get upset about being in traffic, Or I see, I've actually seen surprisingly a few females post up and they're crying on their Instagram about how hard their comp diet is. And I'm like, what a fucking world to live in. That you can post up yourself crying about the decision you made to restrict your food. Like, no one's I keep going back to the gun to your head. No one holds a gun to your head and says, you better fucking diet, right? You chose to want to step on stage. It's going to be tough. You've chosen that. You post up crying, talking about how hard it is, and you're hungry, and you just want to get out. Like, it's just a tough day. Well, guess what? You chose the fucking sword to lay on. So, lay on your sword, Otherwise, don't fucking do it. Like, I don't understand. If I choose something that's challenging to me, something that I want to work towards, it's going to be fucking hard. But I'm not posting up on Instagram complaining about my hard for a thing I've chosen. And again, like, the fact that not even you get to choose to diet, you get to choose to diet, but still eat a certain amount of food. You get to control how much food you eat. Right? So you prevent yourself from dieting so much that you die of starvation, God forbid you lose muscle mass when dieting, because you can eat plenty of protein, which protein is the most expensive macronutrient. So you have money to spend on food, right? You're choosing to go without food. You get access to a fucking supermarket. You still got to sleep in your bed at night. You still, God forbid you train for an hour a day and then you go do the stepper for an hour, but life's so hard that you're comp prepping. Yet, fuck man, again, go over to a third world country and look how they live. We can't really, like, our problems are our problems. Like, I just always say they're first world problems, basically. Like, they're not really that bad. And so the issue, what I'm trying to cover here is, like, people are looking for scapegoats and little things that they think are problems when they're really not. Like, again, the fluoride in the fucking water, man. Like, is that what, like, thank God we have clean drinking water to drink out of. Thank God, for those of you who think fluoride is somehow going to ruin your brain, thank God that, I'm not religious by the way, what do I say, thank goodness? Thank goodness you can go to a supermarket and buy fucking bottled water. Like, Jesus Christ, man. You guys think that's an issue? Or people talk about, what do you think about food additives in the processed food? And what do you reckon about somehow mind control, Wi-Fi in your brain signals, all these things? And I'm like, guys, we're fucking trying to pick at straws here. Jesus Christ, And I want to come back to the dieting side of things with this, because people are always, again, we go back to the Fitfluencer, talking about glyphosate, or whatever it's called, sprayed on your food, on pesticide sprayed on food to kill the pests, right? Quite certain it's actually more overseas than it is Australia. Can't be 100% certain on that. But let's just pick that. Or again, food additives. Let's just pick food additives like a sweetener in your drink, all right? Coke Zero. Let's just go for Coke Zero. People are like, oh, that shit'll give you cancer. Oh, no, that's not good for you. That'll fucking kill you, you know? Oh, maybe that's why I can't lose weight. It's the sweetener. It's definitely the Coke Zero that's causing people to be overweight. It's like, all right, okay, cool. Or it's definitely the fluoride in my water, you know? Or it's my metabolism. Maybe my metabolism's damaged. Like, people are always looking for a scapegoat, okay? Yet, sometimes you need to take a fucking look in the mirror and think about, what is your lifestyle looking like? So instead of thinking about the artificial sweetener in your Coke Zero, what about the amount of alcohol that you drink on the weekend? Okay? Like, oh, I don't know if my metabolism is slow. Well, is it a slow metabolism? Or possibly, just bear with me here, maybe, might be, not 100% sure, but let's just have a guess, the amount of alcohol that you drink every weekend. Then followed by a fat feed after drinking. Then followed by a hangover on Sunday, not moving at all, not going back to the gym, laying around all day being fucking sooky that you self-inflicted, the hangover, can't do anything, life's tough. Then you order Uber Eats again, you know? Then you do nothing on a Sunday. Then come Monday, you think your metabolism's fucking damaged. Really? Or again, Coke Zero. It was the Coke Zero that was mixed with the vodka. It wasn't the vodka itself. Surely it's not the poison that's actually alcohol. The ethanol that's poison in the body can't be that. Nah. Can't be the I was gonna say burrito, but it's not a burrito. The kebab can't be the fat kebab that you have on a Saturday night either. Can't be that thing. Has to be the fucking food dye number 7. You know, has to be that your food's not organic. Has to be that it's Weet-Bix. Some chick's been going on about Weet-Bix and how bad they are for you because of some shit, and I'm like, are you fucking insane? You know, like, Jesus Christ. And what I'm trying to get you to understand here is, like, sometimes you just have to take a look in the mirror and actually accept that it might be your shitty lifestyle behaviors that's causing the issue and not the fucking little things that you might hear about online. And it's funny because we always want to try and grasp or find a scapegoat for something that we could find to blame that doesn't allow us to take responsibility for what we're actually doing. People don't like the hard truth, you know? People don't like to accept that it's their fuck up that's happening. Instead, let's try and look for something else to blame. Because if I can find something else to blame, then that way I can't take responsibility for my actions. And if I can't take responsibility for my actions, well then, not my fault, you know? I can just pass the blame off, not me. I can't lose weight because, you know, big sugar, let's say, big company. What is Pepsi? Big Coke Zero, big Pepsi. It's them. It's them spiking their Pepsi Max and their fucking Coke Zero with artificial sweetener, or, what does this one say in here? With preservative 211. It's got to be preservative 211. Can't be anything else. You know? Can't be the fact that you had, you know, you're like, oh, why am my stomach? I'm just always bloated. Can't be the fact that maybe you had a pint of ice cream last night, a whole pint of Ben & Jerry's, which is about 1,200 calories just in that, and now you're feeling rough today with your stomach. Can't possibly be the fact. Can't be the fact that you're tired during the week because you stay up too late watching Netflix. Nah, can't be that. Can't be that. Got to be the detox. Got to be the liver. Liver's not detoxing properly. That's what we need to look at. That's why I need to go drink lemon water. That's why I got to go drink skinny tea. Can't be my lifestyle, you know? And it's like sometimes we just have to fucking accept that it is us. And here's the cool thing. When you accept that it's you getting in your own way, guess what that means? You have the power to change. Because when you take responsibility, you know, when you accept that it is your fault at the end of the day for what's happening, that also allows you to make changes. Because if you're not in control, then you can't do anything about it. And you're helpless. And you're like, well, fuck, man, I can't do anything about this. We're not in a communist country, you know. You get to decide what you want to do for work. You get to decide mostly what you want to put in your mouth, you know, based on how much money you have. You get to decide what, you know, again, where you kind of want to live for the most part. You have quite a lot of freedom. People forget that. You have freedom. Thankfully, thank fuck we have freedom. Again, Every time something comes up overseas, I always think, how fucking lucky am I to be in Australia? And people still complain about Australia's laws and stuff like that. And I'm like, mate, you go anywhere else. Go. If you don't like Australia, go somewhere else. Because there is nowhere else I would rather live. Maybe Switzerland, because Switzerland actually looks like it's a great place and a lot of good reviews and stuff like that in regards to quality of living. But apart from that, like Australia, hands down, we have it fucking amazing here. After all the shit going on in America, definitely don't feel safe going to America. You know, would I go there? Yes. Would I live there? No fucking way in hell. You know, would I go to? I love Thailand. I went to Thailand. Would I live there? Maybe. Would I live there long term? No way. Like Australia, we have it so good here, and because we have it so good, we have the freedom. Again, we have the freedom to pick and choose mostly what we want to do within restraint. Obviously, I can't go punch someone in the face because I'll be done for assault. You know, but with that, like, that idea that we have the freedom, you have the freedom to decide whether you want to diet or not, okay? You also have the freedom to decide what's going to go in your mouth or not. You also have the freedom to make decisions to better your life, all right? There's no control, all right? There's no one here, again, let's blame Big Pharma, let's blame Big Sugar, let's blame all the other shit. So you're going to be a helpless fucking person for the rest of your life and blame everything else when you could have just fucking taken responsibility and done something about it? Because the funny thing is, when you're not in control, you are way more miserable. When we know that things are out of control from us, we're miserable. Perfect example. I'm pretty sure I talked about this in another podcast about goal attainment. Going back to the gun to your head analogy. So if someone said, you have to run 42 kilometers or I'm going to shoot you and kill all your family, that's going to create a lot of stress, okay? You don't have any control over that. You're like, fuck, man, I've just got to focus on running, okay? What if you can't run 42 Ks and you're like, I'm helpless, I'm not controlled? You're going to be having like the biggest internal breakdown of your life, you know? But guess what? If you choose to run 42 kilometers because you want to run a marathon, that is a different thought in your head because you control that. That is the goal you're trying to attain. You will then be, motivated will be one thing, like intrinsically motivated, not externally motivated. You'll be intrinsically motivated to move towards that goal. You'll get dopamine hits when you're moving towards that goal. So you run 5Ks, you feel good. First time you ran 5Ks. You then do 7Ks, you then do 10Ks, you know? You keep moving towards that goal, and because you can control that you're moving towards that goal, you are gonna be feeling good. That's the good feeling. That's dopamine here. That's moving towards a goal because you have control, all right? Goal control. If you don't have control and you're helpless, then you're not going to feel happy. You're going to be, stressing. You're going to have internal breakdowns, like I said. And the funny thing when we think about this, like, the whole goal side of things, we kind of look back when we think about goal setting and being able to achieve certain things and coming back to the words that we use in our head, all right? Like, I choose versus I can't. Because when people say, oh, you want to come out on the weekend, you say, oh, I can't. Well, you can because you are deciding. Again, when you're dieting, you've decided you want to diet. So it's not that you can't. You've got to change that word in your head to you choose. Because otherwise, when you say, I can't do this, I can't do that, and there's that feeling of helplessness, then that's when people go off the rails. That's when people end up binging. That's when people end up falling off track because they feel like they're not in control. But it's like you are in control because you are choosing to do this. And if you remind yourself that and you change that mindset and you tell yourself, I am choosing, it will actually help you be more in alignment. Because again, now you've got a sense of control. And you actually remind yourself, oh yeah, actually, you know what? I am choosing. Because again, I don't make my clients. I'm not like, oh mate, I'm going to go knock on everyone's door on Friday night. Are you asleep? You better not be out. If you're out, you're done. You're fucking finished. No, they get to decide that, right? And because of that, when you remind yourself you're in control, you actually feel better when you say something that's in alignment with what you want to do, all right? So like again, you say, hey Tyson, you want to come out on the weekend? Nah, thanks, I don't want to. I don't want to. No, I can't. I don't want to. No, thanks. I don't want to. I'm just going to have a quiet weekend in. Makes me feel good because I'm in alignment with my goal of sticking to my calorie deficit. Oh, no, I can't. I'm not allowed. My coach said no. Well, now you're going to feel like shit because you want to go out. You want to see your friends. You're just, fuck's sake, why can't I go out? Fucking Tyson, not let me out. Like, that's bullshit. It's like, your parents when you're grounded. Oh, fuck. Grounded, now you have no control, you know? When you're grounded at home, think about how angry you used to be when you were grounded. Man, I got grounded so many times and I had to sit in my room. I'm like, fuck's sake. And like, again, like me just thinking about that now, fuck's sake, man. I can't do anything. I have to sit at home. Or like we used to get sent to the bathroom or the toilet because then we couldn't play games or anything. Or the laundry, you know, you'd have to sit in there. Oh man, funny times. And like, you know, you'd sit there and you do nothing and you're just sitting there and you're brooding over yourself and you're angry and you can't go out because you know your mum and dad's going to see you. You're like, oh, you know, you're 5 years old and life is terrible. You're in there for 5 minutes because it's like, I don't know about you guys, but when we were younger, the age you were was the amount of time you got sent to time out or whatever it was, right? Until high school, then you're grounded. But let's say like, you know, I was 5 years old and I'm sent to the laundry and it's 5 minutes time out. And that 5 minutes is just long and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't even know what the thoughts would be through your head. Life's terrible, you know, my parents are the worst. I'm going to run away, you know, things like that. Because you have no control. But you're an adult, you get control. And so when you go back and you look, you know, coming back to what we're thinking about, you have control of what you put in your body, okay, firstly. So think about that. Secondly, because you have control of what you do, look in the mirror and think about those things that are causing you issues that you're trying to pretend that aren't there. And it comes back to shitty lifestyle behaviors, right? And again, we're not all perfect. Like my lifestyle behavior with sleep, I've been getting better at sleep and then I get fucking lazy again. And then guess what? I complain about being tired and I'm like, oh man, for fuck's sake, why do I have low energy? Like I still wonder things. Why do I have low energy? Why do I feel tired in the morning? Not the fact that I don't go to bed at the right time. Nah, surely can't be me. Must be something else, you know? And then I remind myself, I'm like, yeah, well, fucking obviously your fault, right? We always do it. We all do it. And so sometimes you have to look in the mirror and you just have to tell yourself, like, look at yourself and be like, look, I've got to sort my shit out, basically. And when you can accept the truth, you have the power to change, okay? So we're going to go back to what we were talking about. Little things that you may hear online or, you know, okay, if anything sounds like, oh, mate, that might be the answer, it's not the answer. As in like, oh, artificial sweeteners might be the answer. No. Oh, fluoride in my water. No. Oh, it's the glyphosate on my food. No. Oh, it's the food additive. No. Like, it can't be the cocaine that you sniff every fucking weekend and wonder why you're tired and coming down during the middle of the week. No. No way. Can't be that. You know, it can't be the alcohol abuse. It can't be the late nights. It can't be the binge eating. It can't be the shit sleeps. It can't be the fact that, like, you know, all those other things that you do, the Uber Eats 6 nights a week because you can't be fucked cooking. Surely it can't be those things. There's nothing else to blame except for those things, right? We have to look at the big picture, guys. Okay? Like a tiny food additive versus a 6 orders of Uber Eats. Like, fuck off. Get the fuck out of here, man. You know? Oh. Or these same influencers that are trying to talk to you about this shit. I'm like, okay, if they ever bring up that stuff, right? My argument to them, always, have you ever drank alcohol? If the answer is yes, your fucking point is not valid. All right? Why is it not valid? Okay, we're trying to, we have regulations, just in case we don't understand this. We have regulations to allow food to be on shelves, okay? Just so we know. And there is dosages of certain things we can have, otherwise we will die. And if a company is causing people to die, do you think it's in the government, I'd probably say the government, like, you know, whoever's looking after all that shit, whose best interest is it? To keep someone alive, to get them to keep spending money, so they keep making more money, or to kill off people because your food is unsafe? Let's think about that. In a capitalistic world, would you rather have someone keep paying you money every month, or would you rather have someone buy something once and then kill them off and never make a recurring income? Let's just think about that, because people blame, you know, the big sugar companies, the big pharma companies and all that shit, right? Oh, they got all these toxins and they got all this bad food. If that was the case, people would be dying and the companies wouldn't be making money. Companies want to make money. Like, how do we not fucking see that, okay? Like, companies want to make money. They want a profit. They don't want a loss, you know? The guys at the top want to keep making money. How do they keep making money? Keep bringing people in to buy your stuff, okay? If Roundup and all that stuff was actually poison to us, It is in a dose, 100%. It's like cyanide. There's cyanide in apples, in case you didn't know. The dose makes the poison, all right? And we know there are doses in there, same as artificial sweeteners. If you are eating a bathtub worth of artificial sweeteners a day, you're going to get cancer most likely. But you're not having a bathtub of artificial sweeteners a day, are you? You're having like 600 mils. And that's like, when I say a bathtub of artificial sweeteners, like the actual artificial sweetener itself, not like a liter of a liquid. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, before we start thinking about the poisons and stuff, and I ask people, have you ever drank alcohol? Have you ever done any drugs at all? That shit will mute out anything, right? Because guess what you can die from? Alcohol poisoning. Quite easily. Like, people will fucking drink way too much alcohol and they can die from alcohol poisoning. You can drug overdose very easily, okay? It's not like, oh, well, you know, maybe they died from fucking purple dye number 7 and it wasn't the amount of cocaine they sniffed on the weekend. Oh yeah, we're going to have to run a story on this. Like, Jesus Christ. And then when I say to the influencers, have you ever done it? If they say yes, and I'm like, well, guess what? You put fucking ethanol in your body. You know? Like, alcohol is a poison. It's not like, oh, is alcohol poisonous? Like, do we know? We know. Like, alcohol is a poison. When we drink alcohol, the first thing that happens is the liver will stop fat burning straight away. It will stop using carbohydrates and fat as a fuel source, and it will aim to get that fucking thing out of the body as soon as possible. The liver will work overtime to eliminate ethanol straight out of the body because it is a toxin. And if too much of it builds up in our liver, we die. Liver toxicity, fatty liver disease. Oh, sorry, what's the word? Yeah, it's fatty liver, but it's like alcoholic fatty liver or whatever it is. Yeah, that type of shit, right? Like, it's not a question as to whether alcohol is poison or not. It's fucking poison. It's not a question if drugs are poison. They're poison, okay? Like, people fry their brain from drugs. People kill themselves from alcohol, all right? No one's eating too much cereal and died of eating too much cereal because of purple dye number 7, okay? I don't think anyone's actually died from artificial sweeteners yet because no one can consume the amount you need to consume to die from artificial sweeteners. No one's eaten so many apples that they've died because of the amount of cyanide in the apples. Right? So, when people start focusing on these things, oh man, that's fucking bad for you. Oh, red meat, that's bad for you. You know, the vegans, oh, red meat, that's bad for you. Yeah, okay, sweet. So, you can eat shitty processed vegan food, right? That's like corn chips, all that stuff, that's all vegan. But you can eat that, but I can't eat red meat, or I can't eat any animals, because that's bad for you. Like, fucking Jesus Christ, man. And so we really need to stop looking at little things for scapegoats and accept that sometimes, most of the time, probably 100% of the time, are the big things that we're just pretending to ignore. And that comes down to lifestyle. That comes down, like, lifestyle and behaviors, basically, you know? Like, if you can't lose weight, it's because you are eating too much food, basically. Or you're probably not moving enough. One of those things. Like, you know that they say, like, oh, it's not just about eat less and move more. It kind of is, but it's not. Like, there's obviously intricacies, but if you eat more whole, unprocessed food, which we all know is your fruit, your veggies, and your protein and shit like that, and you move more during the day, you're pretty much gonna get some results, okay? Like, I don't think when we say eat less and move more means eat less good food. I don't think so. You know, like, eat less shit, move more. Drink less alcohol, drink more better stuff for you. You know, better stuff for you. It is simple, and it's not that easy, but it kind of is. And what I'm trying to get you guys to understand here is, like, sometimes, again, you have to just look in the mirror and be fucking truthful for yourself, you know? Is it your shitty sleeping habits? Is it the amount of takeaway you get? Is it the amount of alcohol you drink, you know? Is it the amount of partying you do? Is it all of those things, you know? Are you lazy? Right? Is it because you stay up too late and then every night, you know, at 10 p.m., when you should have been in bed at 9:30 or 9 o'clock, it's now 10 p.m., you end up overeating all the time, right? Like, there's no mystery, really. There's not really enough mystery. There's not really a lot of mystery. Now, God forbid, there are definitely people out there and clients who I've dealt with who seem to be doing everything right, but sometimes the body just doesn't want to play games. But guess what? They're healthy. It might not induce weight loss, but they are healthy. And health matters, right? And I'm telling you right now, The reason they can't lose weight isn't because of a fucking artificial sweetener, or because of the glyphosate sprayed on food, or because of the fluoride in someone's water. And just so we can go back to and just understand this, if any of those things were actually issues that were a major concern for public health, they would be taken off the shelves, okay? And we would not be able to have them for human consumption. Because again, you kill off the humans, you make no money. I think people forget that these people are capitalists. They want to make money. Plain and simple, right? How do they make money? They make food taste good, right? They make it enough that's going to bring you back, but not enough to poison it and kill you that they're not going to get a recurring customer. Just some food for thought, okay? So there's a bit of hard truth for you guys. That is 30-minute mark. I hope it was informative. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe some of you got a slap in the face. And sometimes we all just need a bit of a slap in the face. Again, for myself, why am I so fucking tired? My own doing. Like, Jesus, cry myself a river because I'm fucking exhausted. And then I go lay in bed and I do the same shit. And I go good for a while and then I fall back into bad habits. We're human. We make errors. We have to keep adjusting and accepting the truth that it comes back to our fault. But that's a good thing, because if it's our fault, we have control to change it. Cool? Cool. All right, guys. Hope you have a great day. As always, I'll speak to you in the next podcast. And before you go, if you do enjoy the podcast, please give it a rating, give it a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, because I really would appreciate it. And it helps me reach more people. All right, team. Have a great Monday.